Just love that song. Oh, so powerful. And I just want to mention this morning we have, I'm going to be talking about ratings today. But first I'd like to talk about copyrights. Do you ever think about copyrights? Yes, that's what Mike keeps reminding us of. And we have, in particular, since we're using Facebook and we are live streaming and that gets recorded, when we use media, we have to think about copyright. So I will let you know that, sometimes we have used popular songs like the Peace Song and, no, not the Peace Song, Peace Train, and Morning Has Broken, and some of those songs that we're now shying away from because we really can't get the copyright to use them. So what I can tell you is that we do have license to use the New Thought music that we are using on Sunday mornings, so we can feel good about that. And because the music part is so important, Ed will tell you that. Ed, for those of you who don't know, was our musician here at Unity for many, many, many years. Yes. Actually, even prior to Barry and I being here. And Barry and I have been here for 14 years, So there's a speaking club I've heard of that rates its invited guests on how interesting their speeches are. How would you like that? Their rating system consists of bell rings. The best speakers are rated 4 bells. The good speakers get 3 bells. Average speakers, 2 bells. Wow, that's loud. And then below average speakers get 1 bell. My question is, how would you like to be the one to get their Nobel Prize? Some of this, you have to admit, is canned laughter. I told them ahead of time that it was kind of a bomber and I needed them to laugh, so. Yes, we even do canned laughter here on Sunday mornings. No, that's the first time, honestly. Oh, so you know this picture here, right? Lucy in her little psychiatric booth. And Charlie Brown is sharing with her his problems. And he's kind of waxing philosophical. He says, sometimes I ask myself, is this your real life? Or is this just a movie? Is my life just a 9-week series? Or is it something really special? And Lucy responds, whatever it is, your ratings are down. That'll be 5 cents, please. Have you noticed that everything is rated these days? And it started out with, I think we've been rating hotels for a long time, and we've been rating movies for a long time. But think about it. When you go to maybe buy something online and you want to make sure that you're getting the right thing, you look for those ratings, don't you? And for the comments. And you can do that for just about every service out there as well. If you want to get your carpets cleaned, you look and you find how they've been rated. Did you know that you can even rate a church or a center? Yes. We are rated, so I thought I would actually show you this on Google. See if this will work for me here. So when you start to if you go into Google and you put in Unity Spiritual Center of the Mojave Valley, you will see that we have ratings there. Usually 5 stars, that's the rating system that is commonly used. Well, you will see that we got 4.9 out of 5 stars. We have 9 reviews. So people have actually commented, look, we didn't put this in place. This is completely out of our hands. Did you know that? That's how it works these days. So maybe as you're walking around, you might think about, how am I being rated? Do I get a 5? Oh. Yay, thank you. And I didn't even ask him to do that. He knew. He knew, he better. I have to tell you, though, because the reason that we have 4.9 instead of 5 is because a person came one time and they actually rated, they actually made a nice comment. But I don't know why we got 4.9 instead of, we got 4 points instead of 5. See what this is doing to me? I'm completely neurotic. No. But this person actually thought that we were a spiritualist community. And, there's a lot of New Age, and there's New Thought, and then there's traditional Christianity. There's so many different faiths and beliefs out there. And when I saw that, I thought, it's probably important to I did clarify that, thank you very much for coming, and thank you very much for your comments. And just to clarify, we are not a spiritualist community. And if you have questions about what that is, Don can talk about that afterwards, but I'll just say we're a positive path for spiritual living. We are unity. And then, so I just happened to notice this yesterday, and I thought this would be good too, to show you that there's this is a Find a Church, and I didn't even know that it was out there. It just came up when I was searching. And we are in here. And I don't know who put us in here, but I will tell you that I just put that in yesterday, our logo, because it was another picture that wasn't our logo. But let me read who it says that who we are. Wow. So that's not what it said yesterday. So, that is what we would say that we really are. What it said yesterday is not what we are. So, just breathe. Yeah, I care about how we are presented in the community. We care about in the leadership here, and I know you do too. So, a Gallup poll. This is interesting. I know you can't read this, but I thought that this was interesting because I think that we trust Gallup for the most part, ratings. This is a Gallup poll of ratings of different professions. Please tell me, this was the question that was asked, how you would rate the honesty and ethical standards of people in these different fields. Very high, very or average, or low or very low. So here we have at the very top is nurses. We have a clergy about halfway down. This is clergy here. So these are the highest rated, and then down all the way to Congress, yeah. Now, let me just be clear. This is not truth. This is perception of the people that were asked, right? Uncle Bill was an old philosopher, and one day he was chatting with his young nieces and his nephew, and he asked them, if I could grant you one wish today, what would it be? Well, his nephew, Richard, said, oh, good, give me $1,000, and then I can buy everything that I want. And his niece, Mary, said, give me the answers to this Friday's test, and then I'll have the best grades in the class. And Janet said, I know what I want. I want a good friend. Give me a good friend who will always be my friend, and I will always be her friend, and we'll just be the best playmates. Well, Uncle Bill said, I think Janet has asked for the best gift of all. You know, Richard, in time, you will have many thousands of dollars, and even that may not be enough. He said, Mary, if you would learn to study and find the answers yourself, it would be more valuable than someone giving you the answers. So your 100% rating on your test this week isn't a failure next week. He says, but Janet, finding true friendship, the kind of friendship that expresses love, makes for joyous companionship and kindly understanding, may be the greatest treasure of all. So I read that and I thought, oh my gosh, I'm just an awful friend. I don't stay in touch. So any of my friends out there, I'm sorry, I don't stay in touch. But here's something that might be just an interesting bit of information about introverts. That introverts it's not about personality and whether you're outgoing or not, it's about energy. When I am around other people, I get exhausted. And so it's hard, and it's hard to, talk on the phone. It drains my energy. Sorry, I must sound like a weak little flower, but it's important that we know that, so that when we are friends with somebody, we know that it's not about us. It's about their need to retreat and their need for solitude. And just the opposite with extroverts, right? They're just like, they get their energy from being around people. And they get drained being alone. So how are we doing this? How do we manage to be with one another? But anyway, this whole friendship thing made me think of this song. Do you remember this song? I never thought of that. How many of you remember that from your childhood? Oh, so some of you have never even heard it. Oh, okay.
I remember a different version.
Oh, do we want to hear it?
No.
Okay, thank you. But this playmate says, I can't do any of those things that you want to do. But we'll be jolly friends forevermore. Well, that's if your friend wants to still be your friend when your dollies have the flu and all of that. You know, it's a rating thing. How do we rate? So if I think about it too, you know, my best friend is really Barry. So it's not, I said, my best friend, you are my best friend. Yeah, oh, thank you. So yeah, I think that that's important too, to know that we don't need to necessarily have friends outside. I mean, that's good to have healthy relationships, but my best friend, yeah, happens to also be my life partner and my husband. I'm blessed in that way. So a poll on the internet asked, which one member of your family is the best looking? Guess what the top rated answer was?
Me.
Yes. Me.
It was action fact.
Another poll asked people which member of their family was the smartest. Once again, that was the highest ranked answer, me. But when asked which family member was most likely to tell a lie, oh yes, right, only 1% wanted to claim that one. So most of us think we're better looking, smarter, and more honest than the rest of the people in our family. What does that say? Oh, narcissistic. General Robert E. Lee. He was asked what he thought of a fellow officer in the Confederate Army who had made some derogatory remarks about him. Lee rated him as very satisfactory. The person who asked him the question seemed perplexed. General, he said, I guess you don't know what he's been saying about you. I know, answered Lee, but I was asked my opinion of him, not his opinion of me. That is our practice. We think that our practice is the prayer and the meditation, but how much time out of the day do we really do prayer and meditation? It's the rest of the day that is our true practice. So, in fact, I want to just share this quote. Some of you may have seen this on Facebook, and again, I'll read it. This is Thich Nhat Hanh, and we carry a great respect for him as a spiritual teacher. And this is what he had to say. Continue practicing until you see yourself in the cruelest person on earth, in the child starving, in the political prisoner. Practice until you recognize yourself in everyone in the supermarket, on the street corner, in a concentration camp, on a leaf, in a dewdrop. Meditate until you see yourself in a speck of dust in a distant galaxy. See and listen with the whole of your being. If you are fully present, the rain, he says Dharma, I'll say the rain of truth, will water the deepest seeds in your consciousness. And tomorrow, while you are washing the dishes or looking at the blue sky, that seed will spring forth, and love and understanding will appear as a beautiful flower. I don't know about you, but I want transformation at the depth of my being. And this past week I had 2 opportunities to rate someone or something. And that's a lot of power. Have you thought about how much power? I mean, we just talked about that this morning. We have, no power about how Unity Spiritual Center of the Mojave Valley is rated. And so I want to tell you about those experiences. We're gearing up for our Easter service, which is the annual white stone ceremony. And so what do we need? White stones, yeah. And so this year I was doing some searching around on the internet for white stones, and I found these. Aren't they nice? They're big enough, they're easy to hold, they're big enough, they're white. And since it is a white stone ceremony. And then we're going to write something on that stone. So it's big enough to write something on too. It's beautiful. Well, I thought I'm going to check out these other ones here, these other white stones that I noticed on the internet. And when I got them this week, these are my white stones. Thank goodness, really, we had enough of the ones that came, the first ones that came. And then, of course, I had this opportunity, this email that came in that said, rate your purchase. And I decided something that I think my mom told me when I was very young. If you can't say something nice, don't say anything at all. Now, however, I thought I could at least send a direct message, because we'd already been going back and forth, and I just let that person know that I was disappointed that they weren't white, since they were advertised as white. That's all I said. Then I had this opportunity. How many of you shop at Walmart? Everybody? I know we're addicted, aren't we? No. So Mike says no, he does not shop at Walmart. Good for you. Bless you. And during the pandemic, we started this thing of ordering pickup. So, though somebody there will do the shopping for you, and then you have a time that you come and you pick it up. And it's all based on an app on your phone. Does everybody here know what an app is? Not, yeah, but let me tell you folks, this is the direction we're going. Everything is appified. That's my word. It's a new word, appified. So, at some point, in order to, have your teeth cleaned, you're going to need to have an app to make that, when you call, they're going to say, well, did you get on our app? You can schedule your appointment on our app. That's not far from the truth. So I didn't do the app right this time. And I've always had a great experience with this going and picking up my groceries from the little people who come out there if you park in the right spot and do that whole thing. But I did not do it right this time. And so when I came and the people who came before me were getting their things, and then the people who came after me were getting their things, and I'm still sitting there, and you know what's happening to me, right? Yes, that's right. There's some steam that's starting to build in here, and I know if I don't let it go, it's going to come out my ears. Right? But I want to be transformed at the depth of my being. I want to know that I have the power to handle a situation and still keep my power. I don't have to give it away. So, I had this choice. Do I get out my car and go in there and tell them I was here before that person? And I decided I'm not going to do that. That's not who I am. It's not who I want to be. So I left. Yes, I left. But you know what? I left with my dignity. And I left knowing that I didn't hurt anybody's feelings because it's not their fault. I didn't do the app right. Got to learn how to do my app better. If I want to do this thing, so now I'm questioning, do I even want to do this thing? But it's unavoidable to get into these kind of situations, isn't it? What is not unavoidable is how we handle them. And you guys, you got to know, that's my first time. In the past, I would have, given somebody a piece of my mind. I don't want to be that person. I'm here. I'm saying, I want your help. Will you join me? Because I feel like this is light exhale, like we talked about last week. Ignite the light. And light inhale is those things that we do that bring energy to us and light to us. And light exhale is what we do that brings energy out into the world. And good, positive vibrations out into the world. And that's what we need. We need good, positive vibes out in the world. I'm sorry? Aptitude. Instead of attitude. Thank you. Let me give you how many bell rings. Off the charts, of course. All right, I'm going to close with a video from Neil Ford. And I'll just leave it at that. He's powerful. So here's his message for us today.
There is a sentiment that you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with.
Did
And
you
I think
hear
there's
that?
real wisdom there. But sometimes people you meet only once.
I'm just going to go ahead and back it up. Start over.
There is a sentiment that you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. And I think there's real wisdom there. But sometimes people you meet only once can have a hell of an impact on you. When I got out of high school, I went to work in this factory where they used to bottle honey. And it was very hot, hard work, minimum wage, repetitive. And back then I was an angry kid. I mean, just angry all the time. I didn't know who I was. And the crew in the factory, they didn't think much of me. I didn't give them much reason to like me. And they had me on this seamer machine, which put the tops on cans. The honey would come out of these big 55-gallon drums, and we'd have to heat it up to about 180 degrees so you could pour it into these steel cans. And I'd have to grab one at a time and put them on a base plate, put a metal top on it, and then step on a plate to send it up into the rotor so that I could seam it. Then I'd take that 5-pounder, move it on, and they'd label it, lid it, and put it in a box, and I'd have to do this again, 5 pounds at a time, about 2,000 times a day. And one day I'd gotten sideways with the owner's kid, and he wanted to get rid of me. And my paycheck was hanging by a thread, so I was running that seamer like a fiend, just trying to get the cases out the door, trying to look valuable. And I could hear this kid in the next room telling his dad what a waste of space I was. So I got all nervous and twitchy, and I wound up putting a top on this, just a little shy of center. And man, when I stepped on that pedal and sent it into the rotor, it just painted everybody on the line with the contents. So it's like 90 degrees in there, and I've come in and basically poured hot honey down their pants. So there is plenty of reason to hate me. And we really should have stopped and hosed off, but 3 seconds later, the boss and his kid come walking in. And everybody on that line just keeps working like nothing happened. And the boss asks the crew in Spanish, how it's going, and they all smile and nod. Even the badass at the end that I know can't stand me. And the owner and his boy hang out there and check the tank levels and inspect the conveyors and talk for what feels like an hour. And these guys on that line, man, they act like it's just a fine spring day, just banging out case after case. And before he shoved off, the owner whispered something to the badass at the end. And this guy sort of nods and smiles and looks at me and gives me a wink. And I guess he told the boss I was okay, because he didn't fire me. And that was decades ago, but I can still see that hard-ass face with a big blotch of honey on it, and he gives me a wink. That guy made me feel like maybe people were okay for the rest of my life.
Yeah, it's not always easy to be Jesus, is it? But that's our goal, and that is our practice, and so it is. So let's have a period of meditation on that thought. Yeah, taking in a nice deep breath. And as we release it, we release all those times that maybe we didn't do it the way that we wished we would. Whatever it is, we let it all go. That was then, and this is now. And sometimes it feels like there's something inside of us that takes over and that we're not in control. But this morning we're going to just question that. Am I really in control of myself? And in those moments when I feel like I am not, I call forth divine wisdom within me, divine power that is my higher self, just waiting for me to stop, get out of the way, and let it shine through me, from me, as me. We really don't have the energy to spend it in negativity. In fact, some would say we can't afford a negative thought. Wow, give that one a little bit more thought. I cannot afford a negative thought because what it does to my mind and my body, and I love my mind and my body. I cannot afford to discharge negativity onto someone else. Because they need positivity. No matter what it is that they are saying or doing, they need my love, your love, our love. Doesn't mean that we go rushing in and try to fix people, no. Sometimes we have to love people from a distance. So let's just breathe with that for a moment in the silence. Once again, we are remembering that we are so much more than what we look like. And the same goes for everyone in our life. And now, as we prepare to go out into this new day and a new week, and a new month is upon us, we are committed to stopping and calling forth that greater wisdom that is within us. Peace. 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 So it is. So it is. Thank you. Thank you, thank you.